Howdy, Bush School. Welcome to another edition of Bush School in the 87th Texas Legislature. I'm your host, Rebekah Chenelle, Bush School Communications Gant and Class of 2021. Our special guest today is Zachary Cochran. Welcome, Zachary. What is your current job?
I'm Chief of Staff for State Representative Diego Bernal.
Awesome. And how does your work in the Legislative Capstone / Bush School prepare you for your current position?
A great question. I had a little bit of experience going into the Bush School, working in the legislature. I worked for Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick as a Luna Scholar during the 85th session now. Wow, it's a long time ago. And so when I went into the Bush School, I was really excited to kind of hone my public policy skills and figure out how to implement research-based practices into public policy that affects Texans on a daily basis. So going into the Bush School, I felt pretty well prepared and just figured, oh, this will help me polish my skills, learn some new skill sets in terms of like statistics and all of that good stuff. But the Bush School really helped when it came to public speaking, when it came to working in difficult settings, working and communicating with people who may not agree with you, right? You know, politics in this state is a two-party system, just like it is on the federal level. And so often you're working with individuals who don't see the issue the same way that you do. And so that's important to know how to communicate. So the capstone itself really helped me get my foot in the door around the legislature when it came to working, for example, with the Public Education Committee or the Transportation Committee, both of those committees in which Representative Bernal sat during the 86th. So the Bush School just was super beneficial when it came to helping me build those relationships within the Capitol. And obviously are relationships I still am working on and still utilize to this day.
Now, you said you work with Representative Bernal. What district is he from?
Representative Bernal represents House District 123, which is Center City, San Antonio. So we've got a good chunk of downtown and good bits of north of downtown and a little bit of south of downtown.
What effect do you think you have personally on the public policy in the state of Texas?
Oh goodness. As a staffer, you're really in charge of ensuring that your boss is fully informed. There's 150 members. Every member files a lot of bills. Last session, there were, between the House and the Senate, almost 7,000 bills were filed, period. Now the process itself is built to kill bills. Not all 7,000 obviously get through, but a good number do. And so, as a staffer and legislative staff in general, have a hand in ensuring that your boss is informed. So, obviously he's the one taking votes, but as a staffer, it's your responsibility to make sure that he understands what's going on, he or she understands what's going on, how the bill will impact your constituents, how the bill will impact, for example, Representative Bernal is really engaged in Texas public school finance. So how bills that are coming through the Education Committee will impact school finance or children in schools or teachers. Retired teachers. There's a lot of different constituency groups that you have to take into consideration when you're building out your boss's floor packet or his committee packet to make sure that he knows everything. Representative Bernal is a brilliant guy. A lot of the members are absolutely brilliant, but you'd be hard pressed to find one that's always able to read every single bill. So as far as being involved in the policy making process, I think legislative staff has their fingers all over it, simply for the fact that we're in charge of making sure that our bosses are prepared to take those votes.
Do you have a favorite memory from either the legislative capstone or the current legislative session?
That's a good question too. This session is obviously really, really different. As you can tell, I'm coming to you live from my room. My boss was really, really keen on our staff staying home amid the coronavirus pandemic. If we don't need to be there, he doesn't want us there. So that's something that I'm really appreciative of as far as being an employee of the legislature. But I think the memories are made in the long nights that you're there. The Texas Legislature meets for 140 days every 2 years. And it's not a 9 to 5 during those 140 days. It rarely is a 9 to 5, but especially during the 140 days, it's not. My buddies and I would get together at receptions put on by organizations in and around the Capitol after, the floor had finished and our bosses were done for the day. And a lot of it was bonding with my capstone group. A lot of us are still there right now, which is really nice because we're all in different offices. So there are some in the Senate and there are some in the House. We have one over at an agency, which has turned out to be super helpful. So just making those memories with my Bush School pals during capstone is probably, while not a singular memory that I really cherish, one that multiple memories that I definitely cherish.
That's awesome that you guys were able to bond like that. I feel like the current legislative capstone there isn't able to hang out as much as you guys were. And you did the legislative capstone.
Yeah, it's hard too, right? So as a chief of staff, I had to onboard a lot of interns going into session. And so I caught myself saying it often, normally this is how this would happen, or usually this is how this would happen. But you can't, it's just not how it's happening, right? So I counted one time and I was like up to 37 usuallys or normallys in a meeting. And I was like, I'm sorry, but even I don't know, this is my third session in the legislature, and I there's still things that I don't know how it's gonna carry on. So I think that's what makes it difficult, not just for the current legislature and staff in both chambers, but guys like you at the Bush School, right? I was told the other day some astounding figure that 75% of you guys have taken a lot of your classes online versus being in person. That's really difficult because that's what the Bush School is, right? It's a time to build your networks and meet your friends and make memories, and that's obviously not what's able to happen right now thanks to coronavirus.
Throughout your either 3 legislative sessions or Bush School experiences, do you have a most shocking experience?
My first session in the Capitol, I expected a very DC vibe. Republicans and Democrats don't talk to each other, and Republicans rule the legislature, and so it's Republican policy all the time. Obviously I work for a Democrat now, right? So but yeah, I think the most shocking moment was the moments of bipartisanship. In Texas, it's not like DC, and I think that's something that a lot of members pride themselves on. Yes, you do have your Republican issues and you have your Democratic issues, and elections matter, and so that in Texas, right, that's what happens. Republicans get elected, and likewise, right, if a Democrat was to get elected, Democratic policies would happen, and Republican policies happen. So I think the most shocking part to me, and was reinforced at the Bush School, right, was that there are absolutely moments of bipartisanship where both sides come together and work on issues. One of the big things this session that I think you're going to see is ERCOT, right? A lot of Texans, 90% were affected by ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, and the Texas blackouts in February. And so at the end of February, the 2 committees in the House and a committee in the Senate are coming together to work on this stuff, right? And those are absolutely going to be bipartisan issues. Republicans and Democrats may look at them differently in how it should be addressed, but those are, in all 150 districts in the state of Texas and 31 Senate districts, all of our constituents were affected. We're all having to deal with constituents who had busted water pipes or went without food for a number of days, or electricity and water. So, you know, that's one of the things that I think is most shocking to me still, right? That Republicans and Democrats can come together, and it's not like DC. I have a couple of friends who went up to DC, and they're like, yeah, we don't talk to our Democratic colleagues, or we don't talk to our Republican colleagues. And in Texas, that's simply not how it is. We wouldn't get anything done if it was like that.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Zach Cochran, for joining us on the Bush School in the 87th Legislature today. Bush School will be back in the near future with the next episode, so keep following us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn for future episodes. Until next time, I'm Rebekah Chenelle. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.